Ladies and gentlemen, it's almost 14 years ago when this very festival was actually founded, and it was founded for people who are like the very people who are seated here tonight, the very you who are watching and who are here to enjoy the very launch that we are actually celebrating here tonight. In fact, it is, I think that quite necessitates how much, especially as the youth of this country, we have come out to I think just the numbers to ensure that we continue to get that baton passed over to us so that we take it and then pass it over to the next upcoming generation.
I think Basha Uhuru, from its formation in 2012, was clear about its intention and its vision. And its vision originally was to preserve the legacy of the youth of 1976, while also creating a meaningful platform for a new generation of young people to express themselves, to share ideas, and to shape the future. And it was the people who formed and conceived Basha Uhuru that recognized that the story of June 16th could not only live in history books and in annual commemorations. It must live in action. It should live in creativity, in how we express ourselves. It must live in the voices and the ideas and the ambitions of young people. And over the last 14 years, Basha Uhuru has evolved into more than just a festival. It has become one of Gauteng's most important platforms for youth engagement, for creative expression, and economic opportunity. Creativity and the creative arts and the creative sector are synonymous with economic development. So creativity is economic activity. These two things are not peripheral. In South Africa, the cultural, creative, and sports industry contribute approximately 271 billion rand to our GDP and account for nearly 4% of the national economy. So if you are part of this sector, you are one of our national blessers. You play a very critical role in making sure that South Africa Inc. works. You know, we've recognized as Gauteng that the creative sector is one of the 12 key economic sectors. It's right up there with finance, manufacturing, the green economy, the digital economy, and we recognize that it has an opportunity to be a big employer and a big employing sector. And this is the role really that GGDA also plays. Many of you will know GGDA primarily is tasked with investment facilitation and trade facilitation on behalf of the Gauteng province. But through GGDA, we are working to build an enabling environment for enterprise growth, for investment and sector development across the province. And our support for initiatives such as Basha Uhuru reflect a broader commitment to growing Gauteng's creative economy and supporting young entrepreneurs. And this is not just about sponsoring events. It's about supporting creative economic ecosystems. And it's also why the relationship that we have with Constitution Hill is also so important. So through platforms like Basha Uhuru and the broader creative Uprising ecosystem, we are helping to strengthen Gauteng's creative economy by creating spaces where young creatives can access markets, can build networks, and develop business skills. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is more than just about launching a program or launching a festival. It's about proudly, with our chests, affirming our belief in young people in this province. Gauteng believes in young people. Gauteng is powered by young people. Gauteng is fully invested in the creative economy and the creative sector. And it is core to our ambitions as a province. And it's about recommitting ourselves to building a Gauteng where young people can participate meaningfully in the economy, not just as job seekers, but also as innovators, as creatives, and as entrepreneurs. I wish the 2026 Basha Uhuru Festival every success, May it inspire meaningful conversations, bold ideas, new partnerships, and real economic opportunities for young creatives across Gauteng.
Constitution Hill is one of the most powerful symbols of South Africa's journey. If you look at it, it actually looks at, or it covers our journey from oppression to democracy. Most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, it reminds us where we come from. But most importantly, it reminds us what we have overcome as a nation. Beyond it just being a festival, Basha Uhuru is a creative uprising, which if you look at everyone who's in attendance, you begin to understand why we're saying it is a creative uprising. It is a platform for young people to express themselves, to build networks, but most importantly, to get access to markets and turn talent into opportunity, because that's what we need. So as the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency, we are proud to support Cornhill as part of the GGDA family, because its mandate goes beyond just heritage. Constitution Hill also is Gauteng's foremost platform for creative economy. So this generation must shape the next 50 years by using its imagination. We do know that we're nothing without the creatives. So let Basha Uhuru be more than a celebration. Let it be a multiplier, and let it be a signal that Gauteng does believe in its young people and the creative economy as a pillar of our shared future.
As Joburg Tourism, we are proud to partner with platforms like Basha Uhuru because they align with our vision to promote Johannesburg as a leading African destination, to support homegrown talent, and to drive economic development through tourism and events. To our media colleagues here today, your role is critical. You help tell the stories that define who we are. You shine a spotlight on talent, amplify voices, and connect audiences to experiences like this one. We encourage you to share the story of Basha Uhuru, not just as an event, but as a movement that reflects the heartbeat of Johannesburg.
Basha Uhuru as a signature event is a very important platform for us, and particularly because the work that it promotes is part of the 12 high growth sectors, which is the creative economy. So it's a very important platform to really promote youth-owned businesses, but also to dial up the importance of the creative economy, wherein we recognize performing arts, we recognize those that are in fashion, we recognize storytellers, those that are in the digital economy as well, as anchors of our economy as the province.
I've always felt that we're not speaking enough. We have our chats, but we're not in constructive dialogue. So if you look at the program, you'll see that we have the big debate, which is titled The Youth Who Refused Silence, mainly because on social media, you'll see a lot of digital activism. Young people don't like taking to the streets as much. We rather prefer hashtags and turning our profile pictures purple, but it really does mean a lot. It really does do a significant change in our country, and we've seen it. We've seen what our thumbs and the change that it's done, so that's a very important curation for us. Another one is spotlighting filmmakers. I think filmmakers still have a very important voice in our society, in our communities, in showcasing storytelling that links to identity, blackness, womanhood, as well as queer representation. I think it's very important that we touch on the power of film. Sarafina is a film, and it's very important that we highlight on the work that goes behind showcasing and archiving our stories.
For me, creative freedom is the only place where young people don't need to wait to have a turn. In corporate structures and academic institutions, young people are met with gatekeepers, but nowadays, young people just need a camera, words, and they can build an audience. But not just that, it's also how young people create an industry. Nowadays, young people don't just use their hobbies as something to pass time or to soothe anxiety. We're faced with high unemployment, so it becomes an industry in itself. Your mic, your curatorship, your storytelling, your TikTok, all of it feeds you, it pays your rent. But, and I wrote it here because I've been thinking about it quite a lot. I think creativity also names things,
Yes.
right? It gives languages to your experiences, and once you can name something, you know what to do with it and how to change it, and it becomes impossible to ignore.
What gives me hope is that young people today are not sitting passively and watching society go by. They're organizing, yes, they are in the streets as well, maybe not as the same numbers as prior to democracy, but young people are active. They're engaging in forms of entrepreneurship and activism, whether it's on gender equality, on economic prosperity, on tackling GBV. And so it gives me hope every time I meet a young person who is saying they're not going to give up and give in to the circumstances that's ahead of us. And what I want to add on is that we're seeing a shift. It might not be as fast as we want, but just yesterday, the IEC said almost 500,000 new young people have registered to vote.
That's beautiful.
And
Let's
that's a
clap hands for that.
beautiful,
That is
beautiful
very
thing.
beautiful.
So for the next 30 years, I think we are the ones who need to shape this history and this story and make it one that is safe, equal, prosperous, and united, because ultimately it's our futures that we're fighting for.
So 50 years later, we are back here at this place which once denied freedom, and now we can freely express ourselves and enjoy the freedom that was once denied. We enjoy the privileges from the struggles of the 1976 people, some of whom are still here today. We were privileged enough to share a student camp, where the young and the old, the young ones of now got to share the experiences with the older generation. They started even sharing what they expect taking this baton forward. Some of the things that the young people are raising include the likes of just feeling safe around their schools, safe in their communities. They want to have more power to express and be heard, because it's a different thing that they make the noise. However, the difference is whether somebody is hearing and really listening to them. We also emphasize the importance of them using the digital tools to really express themselves. I mean, you look at the dances on TikTok, they start trends which take on the world by a storm. We now agreed that they're going to use the same tools to now fight 50 years and beyond to make sure that never again shall any young child be denied of education, quality education, the skills that are required. And that is why our Bill of Rights encourages and allows for young people to really have this freedom to access everywhere they want to access any career of choice, any industry of choice without being denied vote.